What's up, guys? Jake here with Jake's Got Herpes, not to be confused with herpes, because herpes is nasty. In this video, I'm going to do my first question and answer video. You guys requested that I do a series like this, either weekly or every other week, of questions that you guys have for me, and I will answer them. And I figured I'd show my alligator another time because he's a very popular pet of mine, and the majority of my questions are about him. So let's get into it. First of all, is why do you keep an alligator? I get that question quite a lot. And I guess there's no real good answer for it. I mean, like, you could always get another reptile, like a bearded dragon or a leopard gecko, and that would be perfectly fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those reptiles. But I don't know, I always just wanted an alligator. My dad used to keep a caiman when he was a kid, and I just thought it was so cool, and I've watched YouTube videos and stuff about him, and I really wanted one, so I asked for one for Christmas or about 2 years ago, and I ended up getting him. When I got him, he was about 11 inches, so he used to be able to fit, like, lengthwise in a 20-gallon aquarium, so he's gotten quite a bit bigger. It's been 2 years later, and he's about a little over 2 feet now, so he's getting pretty big. And that segues into my next question, which is, how big is he actually going to get? Well, the breeder that we got this guy from, supposedly, now none of this is fact, none of this could be, true, but supposedly he's a dwarf. I'm doing air quotes right now. He's a dwarf in that, like, his parents were, relatively small alligators, and probably their parents might have been, small alligators. A lot of breeders are trying to make dwarf, reptiles of, larger things. I know they have dwarf, Burmese and retics and stuff, and same thing applies to these guys. A lot of people are trying to make dwarfs. So in theory, he should only get maybe 4 to 6, 7 foot, depending on if he's a boy or a girl. He'll be a lot bigger if he's a boy, but if he's a girl, in theory, he should only get that big just because his parents are small. But then again, that really doesn't mean a whole lot. On average, these guys get about 7 to, I'd say, 12 feet in captivity. Don't, quote me on that. That's just what I've read and what I've known to be true. Haven't actually experienced it yet, but yeah. Another question I get is, what is his enclosure? His enclosure is a custom-made 6 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot, I think, is the exact dimensions. And it'll work for him for a while. Obviously, right now, he doesn't take up very much of the space, but it'll probably fit him until he's about 4 foot long. But at the rate he's growing right now, that won't be for a while. He's not getting, too big too fast, which is cool. And another question I get a lot of is, what are you going to do with him when he gets huge? Well, right now, I would say he's pretty tame. Like, he's pretty much puppy dog tame. I can pick him up whenever I want. I'm not going to right now because I never pick him up when he's in the land side, even though it would be a lot easier just because there's a lot of stuff that I have to move. But he's pretty much puppy dog tame. You can pick him up and pet him on the head and all that good stuff. And so I plan on keeping him when he gets really big. I mean, a lot of people are kind of in it for when alligators are small and they're they're kind of cute, but when they get really big, a lot of people get rid of them. I'm planning on keeping him. By the time he gets that big, I'll probably be out of college though, and hopefully live somewhere warm because Michigan is freezing, and I'm not a big fan of cold weather. But hopefully I'll be somewhere warm, and I can build a nice outdoor enclosure for him, and I can keep him there. And one of the last questions I get a lot of is, what do you feed him? I feed him Missouri crocodilian diet, which is like which is basically like dog food for alligators. It's like these little nuggets, and it's got fish and basically everything that they need. You don't really have to feed him anything live, and that's part of the reason why he's so tame, is because he eats this stuff. So it doesn't really associate anything moving with being food. So if you stick your hand in there, he's not going to come over and think you're another snack. And when they get bigger, they make 2 sizes of these pellets. There's these little ones, which are pretty small. He eats quite a bit of them at a time. And then they make some that are probably about that big, like disc-shaped looking things. They make those for really big ones. So yeah, that's all the questions I can think of right now that I get asked a lot about my alligator. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I'll make another video soon. Depending on how many comments I get will sort of depend on when I make another video. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this type of video. If you did, please leave a rating and comment one of your questions, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.